Okay, yeah, so brainwashing was happening down it was happening in Canada. It's not like it wasn't. And I'm like, luckily, my cousin wasn't anywhere near there. And I've been being called stupid for so long that's like, that could never happen to me, right? Same thing with COVID. It was like, because I was reading the energy, everyone's like, oh, Lisa had it so easy. And it's because I'm like, my life's been that way. You guys are experiencing what I've been experiencing for so long. And then when I found out about, oh my god, all the other stuff is just, it's terrifying to think about. You know, I'm the only one in my family that's really, really strong because I don't take any type of medication. I got really sad last couple of days because Trev and them, they all got sick. And he's like, Lisa, how are you not sick? And I'm like, because I'm not in that environment that'll make me sick, right? And I know when they're sick, the first thing they want to do is take meds, and I don't. I'm like, you know what? I'm not a little bitch. I can deal with this for a good couple of days and then it'll be gone, right? Whereas they don't want to like fight through that. Okay, anyways, that brings up a good point. Do you guys get sick? Like, if your bodies are unstable, you can't have kids. You got brainwashing and all the plastic surgery. Like how? Sorry, I lost my train of thought again. I'm gonna keep saying that. Fuck. Yeah, do you guys get sick? That was my next question. Okay, want to hear something interesting? So, I was talking about the difference between a human and a clone, right? It's like, what's the difference between me and you, right? When I was doing the readings to know that you're not human, the strength card kept coming up, and I'm like, okay, that's not unsettling at all, right? I was like, what in the fuck? That's so unfair. I read for all of them, at least all of the ones off the top of my head. I need a good deck. Like, what the hell is this? It's hiding from me now. Now I gotta fucking dig through the deck for it. Yeah, when I was reading it, I was like, the strength card came up every single fucking time, and I was like, what the heck? This card never comes up when I read, right? Normally when I read, this card only comes up, like, it's like for me, it's not strength, it'd be like the bravery card, right? Because she's taking care of the lion, right? So when I read humans, it reads that way. But when I read for inhuman beings, I feel this more, and this is unsettling to me. It's like the lion is stronger than the woman, right? And the lion could fuck her up if if it wanted to, right? So I'm like, that's so unfair. So you guys can't have kids, but you have like crazy amounts of strength. And in my head, I'm like, great, this is like just everybody's stronger than me. Like, what the hell? So I'm like, there goes my dream of wanting to like shadow box somebody here. Now I'm like, I'm gonna lose. Like, physical wise, you guys are extremely strong. Like, this card shows up, and I was like, oh my god. See, when you ask me, it's like, Lisa, why are you scared of me? I'm like, well, you could like breathe on me and I could die. You know, because your breath is that strong. Like, it just feels that way. And it's like, this has to be true because when I read the all the other books, it says how like, even with the angels falling from grace and shit, because I told you I'm like disgraced too if we go back to talking about everybody else. For them to interact with humans, they had to lower, right? They're extremely strong, and I was like, fuck. That's so, no, like, no, why? Like, how strong we talking? You know what? Maybe I don't want to know, but I kind of want. Like, I'm curious, and I'm both fearful and curious at the same time. Like, that's a really weird fucking combination to have. Okay, moving forward. Okay, there was that whole. I don't remember when, like, what point in time, but I do remember this happening. Right? I'm not fucking crazy. There was a point in time where it's like, oh, like on the online, it's like, oh, so and so died, right? Like every day a new celebrity would die. So I'm like, what the fuck is that? And then they have like the old celeb photos, like they're going back in time. It's like, look, this is so and so from this time period and that time period. I'm like, has that transfer been going on that long, or is like that's what I don't understand, and that's kind of what's freaking me out too, because they said they need pure sacrifices for that, and I'm like, what in the fuck? Okay. Uh. Okay, if we're in a situation where there's multiple bodies, have you guys been blackmailed into compromising situations? Right? Like, okay, say if you're, this is what I find annoying. I'm like, I don't want to call her Selena because that's technically not her name. Right? For me, it's like you're a twin, right? It's like, you know how like they can easily like swap in and swap out? Like for me, that's what it feels like. Like if you told me, oh yeah, like I'm not a clone, I'm Selena's twin, like that would be make much more sense. And then you have to like reclaim your identity, right? Like in that kind of a way, it's like okay-ish, I guess. Right? Because I feel wrong calling you but not by your name, right? Because then it's like it takes away from all the like the good or whatever, or the good, the bad, whatever the fuck you've done, right? Right, which brings me to my point of blackmail, right? Which is okay, you're in someone else's body. You could fuck up their whole reputation, right? You could disgrace them. This is my point, right? Because this is a historical thing that's been happening over and over and over. Because I know I've encountered this, so I know. Like it feels like an overnight thing where you could just instantly ruin somebody. I'm like, why would you? Why are we doing this? Why? Everybody wants to act and pretend like, oh, they're like above God and that that they're like they've never done anything wrong, and I'm like, what in the fuck? Like, I don't know, it just sounds so stupid. But then that's like a human thing too. I'm like, why? And then that's my other question too. I'm like, if you're gonna clone, why would you clone humans? Like, what else did they clone? Because there's so many humanoid. I don't even want to use that term because I don't even know if that's correct. But I'm like, there's so many like half human things that it like I don't understand why they used humans. Because if you go back in history, right, like all the statues and stuff, their hands are missing, the nose is missing on the Sphinx. It's because they had prominent features, right? And I thought that was so sick. I'm like, okay, if you think back, like if you go back in time, the things they were condemned for, they would never be for today, right? Because I'm like, looking back, it's hella stupid. Like if you think about it, the people who had like extra fingers, right? Because they used to say a lot of the inhuman beings had a sixth finger, right? And I'm like, if any of them existed today, you know how sick they would be if they were musicians, because you know how they have like the extra strings and stuff, and it would be like, ah, fucked up. They fucked up that opportunity. You know what I mean? A six-finger person could probably hit chords and shit better than a five-finger person. You know what I mean? Like there's like how you guys are strong too. Like I feel like you guys have strengths that we don't have, right? And then I'm like, why did it have to be people? They could have cloned any like thing. And then it's like scary to think about. It's like, okay, if we clone people, we could put them in situations where we can blackmail them. I'm like, why are you blackmailing them? Like what the fuck? And then it brings me to my next point. what do you guys eat? Like, I know I'm not gonna ask the others their diets because we already know, and I don't really, oh god. What do clones eat? Do clones have to eat? Because if we look at, like, robots have to eat electricity, no? And then I think around the same time when they had cloning going on, they had genetically modified things going on, because I remember studying that too. And I remember, like, they always used to talk about corn, and I'm like, humans are looked at as livestock and rats, right? So I'm like, I never reach for corn. That's one of the things I really hate. The other thing is bread, and I've been trying to, like, disprove his point, but I'm like, I can't. I'm like, humans crave bread, and I'm like, fuck, I've been trying, like, because you know I've been doing all the food stuff. I'm like, when it comes down to it and I have nothing to eat, my body craves bread, and I'm like, I fucking hate that that's the default. Okay, going along that same line of research now. When I was in class, I think it was fairly new when they brought up the idea of designer babies, right? And I was like, why the fuck would anyone need this? And when you look at you guys' uses, it makes sense, but for us, it's like, that's so fucking weird. Okay, so humans are being used for what? Their blood? Fuck, I can't remember the word. I don't know if it's an enzyme or what the fuck. Chemical compound. Okay. That's what the internet says is what we're gonna call it. I don't want to say the word out loud. So we're used for our blood, for the chemical compounds, stem cells, organs. Stem cells are in our wisdom teeth too, right? Like, we're used as livestock. To me, like, okay, if you're gonna go about this in a shady fucking way, because this has been going on for a while, right? The amount of I don't even know how to phrase this fucking sentence. I want to say people that have died, but they never reached adult age like me, right? This is the first time this has happened for me. Humans are empathetic. I feel like if you guys didn't go about all shady about it, they'd somewhat understand, right? Because if God created the spirit, right? And the spirit's supposed to be understanding and forgiving, then right? Because if we come back to the wolf in sheep's clothing thing, the sheep aren't going to get mad at the wolves for needing to eat, you know, to survive. And right, people are going to be like, okay, Lisa, like, okay, I know, like, when they're scared, the first instinct is to kill out everything, right? But I'm like, when they understand the reasoning, they're not going to behave in such an idiotic way, right? Unless you guys have put them into a point where like they're like, that's our only option, then you should stay hidden. Which brings me to my next point. Why do you guys hide in plain sight? Which is that's what really annoys me, right? Like when I bring up like the angel stuff, they would always tell me that like, Lisa, we look just like you, and I'm like, well, why? Like it to me, like it's not making sense. See, if you're gonna go about this a shady way, and like let's say you need something from me, like, you know, there's a right and a wrong way to do everything, right? This is what we're talking about. We're talking about good and bad, right and wrong, monster, not a monster, right? If you're gonna go about things in a shady way where you have to hide, where like you're sacrificing humans, then we're already starting off from the wrong place. I know I can feel them. I can feel you guys screaming through the screens like, Lisa, they're not gonna understand. I told you it's easier for them to believe the lies than the truth, right? I said that once before, right? They'll believe all the lies, but they're not gonna believe the truth. And whose fault is that, right? That's you guys' fault. So you guys have to start fixing it, right? Because I can feel it. And then because I told you I can't see, what are we in now, 2026? I can't see past 2027. Like, the moment like June, July, August, I don't know when, it's a really hot day. In 2027, I can't see past then. So I don't know if I'm dead or like if I'm with you guys, because you guys are my blind spot. Or I don't know what happens, but I can't see anything past then. But I know by 20, well, what are we in 2020? By 2030, I feel you guys out in the open, right? Like that shift is like, I feel a lot of like, imagine the earth at night and there's a whole bunch of lights, right? Because I always explain their energy as lights, right? Because that's why like everybody says when they encounter me, they're like, Lisa, I feel like the main character. It's like because I'm bright, I have to, their lights aren't running correctly, they're dim, they have to be, imagine having a light bulb and the light's never at full brightness, right? You know how annoying that is, right? It feels, to me, it feels like by 2030, it feels like that. It feels like all the lights that I can see, at least half of them are gone, right? Because they're not human. So I'm like, I can feel you guys out in the open, but I'm like, I don't know what happens after. I told you guys that a long time ago. I'm like, I can't see past 2027. It's been like that for like ever since that day happened, because I'm like, if that's never happened, it was free. I just can't see anything. I don't know why you guys hide in plain sight, right? Like, that's annoying. You know what I find kind of funny too? If clones and all the other inhuman things are like really strong, why do they have to work for it? Like, you guys need to fix that too. It's like, okay, we're stuck in bodies, right? That we didn't ask to be here for. At least make it fun. Like, why are we like trapping ourselves further by having to work, right? I'm having fun in retirement era. This is what I'm saying. Like, it took so many years to have people believe lies instead of the truth. You guys have to start fixing it now if you want to come out by 2030, right? So you gotta think strategically now. Because right now, if you guys just like suddenly show up in front of people, their first instinct is gonna be to attack you guys and kill you guys all off. Which I think is weird, because if you look at the wolf and the sheep thing, imagine all the sheep coming together to like kill a wolf. Like that would like that's like crazy to think about. It's like, would that happen? There's wolves among the sheep. Because you guys look at us as livestock, right? It's like, oh, there's plenty of them. They're not gonna die out, right? But then when you look at the numbers, it's a lot. And then that's the next thing too. I'm like, okay, if we making all these extra beings, and like, what's going on with the food resources? And then, right? Like, it's not making sense. This is how I know you guys are monsters, because I'm like, okay, logically, why don't you just kill us all off and done with, right? Because I know you guys are significantly stronger, but that there's a reason for everything. And I know not all of you are crazy as fuck. Okay, the crazies are what we have to fucking. I've said this before too. I've said we gotta condemn the people who are doing the fucked up shit, but we also have to praise the people who aren't, because they're gonna feel neglected and be like, okay, well, if the person who's doing all the fucked up shit is getting all the attention, maybe I should start doing fucked up shit too, which isn't a good thing. Okay, I've already said this. We gotta start praising the people who are doing the right thing. That's why I know a lot of you are monsters, right? Like, I feel the shift when you guys shift from human to whatever. Like, it's like a change in volume. Imagine like having a tiny water bottle suddenly shift to like that giant 4 liter bottle that I have. Like, I feel that that shift in volume, like that space in the volume, that the volume, the space in the volume is different. Like, I can feel it. Yeah, you guys gotta start fixing that now, because it's gonna be mind blowing for them. They need to understand like how, because right now they're gonna look at it as problematic, right? They need to look at it as if, like, for me, I see it as a good thing, right? Because like when I look at the blue bottle she sent for me, I'm like, a human could have never designed this for me, right? And it's like perfect, right? Versus, you know what I mean? Like, there's certain things that happen that could only happen a certain way. Like, I don't know how to explain it. How do I explain this? Hmm. You guys' senses are different, right? Like, I don't know how to. I feel like it's gonna be really rude too. Like, when I don't know, like, I feel like, cause I can't see you guys when I sleep, but I know you're there. Like, when I see it in person, I feel like I'm gonna come off really rude, because the first thing I'm gonna want to do is stare, right? It's like how, cause I know I'll like rewind and see when the spirits send me that fairy tale book. They've always been sending me those stories. I know all of them, or most of them, and all the different versions of them, right? But I feel like it'll be really rude if I just look up and stare at you. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, what can I use as an example? Okay, let's use Alien as an example, right? It's like, okay, people, there's still people that don't believe they exist, right? So it's like you know of them, but you've never seen one. That's why people don't believe in it, right? It's the same thing. It's like you could say that about a lot of things. People could be like, well, Lisa, I've never seen God, so God doesn't exist, right? There's them type of people, which are stupid as hell, but you know what I mean? Because there's a lot of things that exist that you can't see, right? So, like, for me, that's what I'm comparing it to. I'm like, okay, let's say, like, I understand the concept of what an alien is, right? Like, we know they physically, like, you can tell by looking at them that they're physically different. Or not all of them. Maybe that's just a stereotype way that they portray on TV, right? You know what I mean? Like, humans have an idea of what an alien would look like, but to have an alien in front of you that looked that way, like, I feel like I'd be really rude just staring. You know what I mean? Like, right? Especially for the people who don't think they exist, to finally see one up front in their face, they're gonna be like, holy fucking shit, right? You guys can't be peaceful. You guys have to, you're gonna be in a situation where you have to guard yourself. Like, you gotta protect yourself because you placed yourself in a position now where you're gonna get fucked over. Uh, See, like, I never had an interest in, like, space and, like, certain things, right? But I'm like, when you hear about it, it's just like, what the heck? I've always been interested in, like, those fairy tale stories and stuff because the spirits have always been sending that for me. And I never understood, like, when I look back, I'm like, all the things, everything they sent me to try and let me know what was going on, like, they did their best. But at the end of the day, you guys are the ones supposed to tell me because at the end of the day, I ended up finding out in a really weird ass way, right? um, I'm talking about this in a light way, but I know a lot of it's fucking horrific, right? Like, we I haven't even touched on shocking. It's not just brainwashing. Like, electric shocks came up when I read, because then they write that off as like rehab, and then if you guys are like everywhere, then it's kind of scary about who has control over what. Like, there's the idea of control is what's throwing me off too. I'm like, why the fuck do we have to dominate one over the other? Like, doesn't make any sense to me. I should be mad at you guys because my life, I have to work and shit because you guys said it that way, right? That's what I'm telling you guys. If you didn't do things in a shady way, people wouldn't be pissed and angry and violent now. You know what I mean? Like, if you had just said, yo, like, we don't have enough resources on the planet to sustain all these life forms, okay, then we would have worked toward a solution, right? But no, you have to be shady and hide all this shit. Now people are gonna come and, rebel and shit. So we're talking about, there's food, then there's like the organs and stuff. You guys need certain chemicals, organs, things from us that if you had just asked nicely, or like blood or whatnot, and then you're like, Lisa, that's too idealistic, that's not gonna happen. But I'm like, some people would, right? Like, if we knew, like, for example, clones can't have kids, right? But humans can because they can pop that out like nothing, right? I can't relate because that hasn't happened to me yet, right? That's like, anyhow, not in this lifetime, but anyhow, um, I'm pretty sure there are people, if they're friends with clones, they would happily have kids for them. You know what I mean? Like, but then that leads to more problems because then it goes back to the story of when the angels and the humans started procreating, and then all this shit happened is because they decided to make more problems, right? We don't know what problems are going to come from this. This is what, right? We need to have these type of discussions now. Right? We have to start talking about, like, okay, we got to figure out resources. We got to figure out sustaining certain things. Like, say for example, you guys are like, Lisa, I need like this much blood from you every month. I'm like, okay, right? But like, what are you giving? Like, now that people are in a mindset where they're like, okay, if I give you this, what are you giving me in return, right? Everything's transactional, so no one's gonna do anything freely, right? Like, because then they feel like they're getting fucked over. Whereas in my situation, I'm like, okay, if you've helped me a good couple of times, then like I would happily give you that, like, whatever amount you need, right? If I'm fucked for a couple of days, you gotta wait. uh, you know what I really hate? So now I can only sense Selena and all of their energy now because I feel like they're at a frequency where I can reach them too, right? Because I'm like, if you're on alcohol, if you're on drugs, or like whatever the fuck, right, low level, low life shit you're on, you'll never cross like paths with me because I can't sense it, right? God doesn't allow those types of beings near me. If you're like, oh, Lisa, I need like a wisdom tooth because I still have mine, right? I'm like, oh, if you want them, take them, right? All you gotta do is tell me what you're using it for, right? Like, I need to, like, this is why it's shady, because it's like, everyone's pissed because they're like, everything's thrown in our face, right? But it's like, there's no understanding. Because there's no understanding, it's like, well, you guys believe in karma, right? Everything's gonna come back and fuck you guys up because you're doing things in a dishonest way. Like, I don't know how to... Am I gonna get in trouble for talking about this? I feel like I can't talk about this. God told me I could talk freely about it. And then all of them keep telling me, you don't have to be scared. I'm like, I'm not scared. Oh my God. So when I found out, Selena, when I found out that first week, I was shocked. Then I had to cry. Okay, this is why it takes so long for me to come back and do videos, okay? I was shocked, and then I cried. Then I had to think about it. Then I had to, right, then my brain threw up. And then I haven't had time to, like, make sense to be able to talk about this. Then I had to deal with all the other normal shit that I have to deal with, right? And then, yeah, it was a lot. Like, I don't know how to explain, but anyhow, you gotta start fixing the situation, right? So you guys have to be upfront with resources and everything else. Like, I heard about the firmament